Welcome back to Beyond the Hashtag Season 2. If you're new here, I'm your host, Aidan Gilbert from tik.tok.shop UK, and the purpose of this podcast is to explore the inspiring stories of TikTok Shop's trailblazers, the entrepreneurs, innovators, and everyday creators who are building thriving businesses right here on TikTok Shop. Whether you're a small business owner, a side hustler, or someone with a dream waiting to be launched, you're in the right place. Today, we've got an amazing guest joining us, David, the founder behind Kanzen Skincare. Kanzen has already made waves on TikTok Shop, hitting over 100K GMV overnight through affiliate marketing, a total 50 million affiliate views, and creating viral skincare products that have captured the attention of beauty lovers everywhere. Let's dive into it and see how they got there. So first off, David, could you introduce yourself and share a bit about your journey and what led you to founding Kanzen Skincare?
So we launched in 2022. Prior to that, I was heavily involved in the music industry. I was signed to Nicki Minaj's manager as a music producer. I worked with pretty much the entire music industry, and I invested into a biotech company. And that biotech company was creating innovative products, different products within the commercial disinfectant space. And it was 100% natural ingredients, everything else. And I basically said to my fiance, who suffered with really bad skin, Katie, use this and see what happens, type of thing. And so she used one of the products that we created, and it kind of just worked. And that was really the birth of Kanzen. And we went from doing disinfectant products to then switching the entire business model over to do skincare.
Wow, that is amazing. That's quite a jump to go from music production to skincare.
Massive.
Yeah.
Especially with zero past skincare experience as well.
Absolutely.
So certainly an interesting jump.
Yeah. What would you say it was like the specific thing in skincare that hooked you in?
The difference it made to Katie. So the difference that I saw in her confidence. So she's also a singer. So she came off tour and she had really bad skin. And it was the difference that she went from being not confident in the slightest to having this confidence virtually within 28 days. And I was like, right, there's something here. Imagine if we can replicate this with hundreds of thousands, millions of people globally, then it seems like a win-win.
100%. So your brand puts emphasis on simplifying skincare for customers. What inspired that mission?
Simple skincare. Everything's overcomplicated. There's brands that put out 100 steps. There's brands that put out you need to do this before this before this. And in essence, what we launched with was our hero product that you can slip into any skincare routine. So with the spray, you can use that before you use the likes of Charlotte Tilbury, before you use the likes of Kylie Skin, whatever you want to use, what's your day-to-day, you can still slip what we created into that just makes it easier, streamlines everything. So you're not necessarily breaking habits that you may have built up over a lifetime.
Yeah.
But then with that came the demand for other products. We were like, right, we don't want to do a 500 million step routine. No one has time for that anymore. And I think that was like the real calling point for us. We were like, right, what do people actually need within their skincare? They need a good cleanser, they need a good moisturizer, they need a good serum, and that's pretty much it. So that's very much what our core consumer base wanted, was just simplicity, knowing what they're getting, ingredients that don't scare them is crucial for us.
Absolutely.
So that was very much where we were like, right, let's take this idea and let's just run with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I think it's true. People can definitely feel overwhelmed by a million step skincare routine, all these different serums, all these retinoids and hyaluronic and all of that. Sure. Sometimes you kind of just want it to be boiled down and think this is
essentials.
Yeah, this is simple and just what I need and will keep me on the move.
Absolutely. I think that the one thing that makes Kanzen stand out is we guarantee results. So all of our products are dermatologically tested to begin with. So we know that what we're actually selling people within that category works for that category, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Fantastic. So Kanzen has gone viral for making effective skincare accessible. How do you define that balance between affordability and quality?
So for us, we made the choice at the very start. We were like, right, we want to control everything. So we set up a manufacturing facility. So we manufacture everything in the UK. So everything's made in the UK. And that's how we can balance affordability versus quality, because we know that the ingredients are coming from the UK. And because we're not having to import, we're not having to deal with taxes, we're not having to deal with anything with the import, tariffs, etc. We know that we can make a really good, affordable product in the UK
Mm-hmm.
that is UK standards, European standards, global standards for a consumer base that demand a price point that they're happy with as
Yeah,
well.
that's accessible.
Of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. So, prior to embracing TikTok Shop, what did life look like for you and the brand? Were you balancing a day job or building Kanzen from home?
So we very early we were building Kanzen. It wasn't going very well before TikTok. We had a whole white label division.
Mm-hmm.
So with the we heavily invested into manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
And from manufacturing, then when the brand wasn't taking off in the way that we wanted it to take off, we were like, right, what can we do? We have all this equipment. What can we do to utilize this equipment? So we were making shampoos, we were making conditioners,
Mm-hmm.
moisturizers, serums, different other projects and different other products that we really didn't want to take, but that was keeping the lights on. And that was
Nice.
very much that element of give and take.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really accelerated us, that when we did have the virality, that piece from TikTok, we were like, right, now we can hone in on the actual brand side, because the
Mm-hmm.
brand side is what everyone wants to build.
Sure.
Everyone wants to build out
Yeah.
their brand.
Yeah, yeah. So were you guys selling Kanzen on other platforms or in retail before, or did they come together?
So with the balance of when we went viral
Mm.
versus the success that we've had online and offline in terms of retailers, that all came together. But prior to that, we were selling probably 10, 15 products a month on the D2C channel. So it was
Mm-hmm.
very minimal.
Mm-hmm.
But really trying to educate people, because with the market that we're in and the channel that we're in, everything's based around education.
Mm. And were you sort of sourcing products with creators and other people to kind of help with that storytelling or?
No, for sure. Like I think that we even went down a route of influencer driven brands as well. So we started working on different influencer fronted brands, because we're like, right, the brand just isn't taking off. How can we utilize everything that we've got
Mm-hmm.
prior to the virality to reach as many people as possible?
Mm-hmm.
And that was very much that. Like we were working with different athletes, different global athletes, different hairdressers, even down to like we did something with Molly May's hairstylist just to
Mm.
try and get us out there even more. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was like anything that I think that we could have done, we were trying desperately to try
Yeah,
and pick up on the momentum that everyone wants to own a brand.
sure.
And that was very much that.
And those are quite big names to get to be able to nab early. How did you what was your approach to reaching out to those people? Do you have connections already?
No, so what we had was a business model. Because we manufacture everything ourselves, our margins are there. So what we were able to do is like, right, look, let's go into partnership with each other.
Okay.
Everyone, I think that now is at that level of, right, they want to own something.
Mm-hmm.
So every influencer, every major celebrity, they have endorsement deals, but on the back end, they actually don't own equity within that company.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that we were approaching, we were like, right, let's do 50-50 joint ventures with you. We'll manufacture, we'll handle everything. You just put your name on it and do the
Wow.
marketing. So that was very much where like the open collaboration came from. And I think that the openness that we went into these deals with was, if we can make £100, fantastic. If we can make £1 million, even better, like, that's fantastic. But let's go in there with one goal, and that's to grow, because then the brand will grow alongside it as
Right.
well. And that's always been our goal, is to align the alignment of celebrities and influencers would always be powered by Kanzen. So we would want to get the Kanzen brand out there in any way, shape, or form.
Right. So were you weren't offering them stakeholder in Kanzen. You were offering them, let's work together on a product. We'll do the back end, and then you can brand it and
For
make it
sure.
your
Like we
own.
would
Okay,
literally
cool.
own, we would co-own the brand name. We
Mm-hmm.
would any formulations that they wanted, we would do. Like
Mm-hmm.
we had some amazing hair products that we developed and
Mm-hmm.
that we brought to market, and everything was just partnerships, because I think that the creators and creatives overlook that ownership model,
Mm-hmm.
because they, for example, get paid X, Y, and Z to promote a
Yeah.
brand, but they never actually have
And
that
it's just not
physical
in
ownership.
their understanding to even like break that down for themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
They don't know where to do,
Yeah.
because 9 times out of 10 you've got creators that are like massive on
They
platforms,
know
and
how to build a brand.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's that sidestep of going, how can I utilize this fan base that I
Mm-hmm.
have to not only monetize but to own that monetization?
Yeah.
And I think that was really our puzzle that we were trying to fit in, and yeah, it was successful while we were building alongside as well.
So this was all going on before you decided to really make Kanzen happen. This was sort
Correct.
of what you were doing with all of this. You had all this equipment and this facility, and you thought, well, rather than everything standing still, let's.
Let's at least run some of it. Let's
Okay,
So
interesting.
that was very much that, and that was prior to
How long was
us.
that going on for?
That was going on for about a year,
Okay, cool.
a little over a year. So our first year was entirely white label. It was
Right.
made up with, like, probably, to put it into perspective, it was made up with probably about 95% white label
Mm-hmm.
and co-branded work, and 5% actually Kanzen products.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that now, it's 100% Kanzen products, zero white label work.
Right, right.
So that
Really
was the
quick.
switch
Yeah.
of, once we actually were like, right, let's double down on TikTok Shop, even TikTok in general.
Yeah.
That was when that major switch happened.
Right, right, right. And were you using any of your sort of connections or expertise from working previously in the music industry to kind of grease the wheels and
Yeah, I
approach these
tried
people? Yeah,
to. I tried to, but I think that the whoever I approached to do something was like, Nicky's just signed a £30 million deal with Matt Cos. I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay,
All
get
right,
I'll match that
Nikki.
one. I
Yeah.
was like, do you know anyone else that I can go to? So it was certainly a learning curve, but I think that being involved in the music industry, you get an awful lot of rejections.
Sure.
And I think that was able to set us up as well, because the rejections were tenfold.
Sure.
But when you got a yes, it was more meaningful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was very much the business model that we were going for, was like almost that scattergun approach, that if we knock on as many doors as possible,
Yeah.
because the founders were all entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
If we knock on enough doors, then one will fly open.
Yeah,
And that was very
absolutely.
much what we were doing.
So you said you were working as a producer. In what kind of capacity were you, like, composing music for artists?
Yeah, so I lived in Miami from I was 21 until I was about 24. Literally left school at 16 and ended up doing music from I was
Yeah.
like 16 until I was about 25.
Wow.
26.
Wow. Amazing.
So music production, writing,
Yeah.
and then I moved into like the record label, signing artists,
Mm-hmm.
and that was very much like the progression.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself dipping your toe back in there, or no, you've said goodbye? Maybe.
Maybe in the future.
Oh.
You never know, but as it stands right now, the music industry's changed, and it's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
And I think that now I can go in from a different perspective. But no, I won't. No,
No,
I can't.
you don't want to go back to the madness.
No, I'm too old for that now. Like the long nights, no.
Yeah.
3 days without any sleep. I can't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. Fair
5
enough.
hours a day I need.
Fair enough.
I sleep half my day composed of sleep now.
So tell me about the growth of the brand itself on TikTok Shop. What was your initial so you'd essentially got your sea legs by white labeling for other creators and other brands. What was your initial strategy going into launching the brand itself? Like, what were the very first steps you thought?
Genuinely, I just saw TikTok Shop as a platform that we had to be on.
Yeah.
TikTok as a whole what it gives you is real time,
Mm-hmm.
real time data, real time driven results. And with our product, we know because of the testing that we've had that we're able to say we reduce all the main causes of acne within 21 days because that's
Mm-hmm.
been independently tested. So we were like, right, if we can just crack this, then we know we're onto a golden egg, because all it's going to take is one person to use it for 21 days
Mm-hmm.
and for their skin to go from being heavily congested to nothing, for us to win. And I think that that was very much the mindset of going into TikTok Shop, not understanding anything to do with TikTok Shop, or and not understanding the back end of that. Just really a let's go, let's see what happens,
Yeah.
and what's the worst that can happen.
And then like real like what was the very first step? Was it we're gonna seed product with people we know? Was
No,
it
no, definitely. Like the first step was for me was aligning myself with people that understood the platform
mm-hmm.
unbelievably. And that's when we started first working with Matthew, who's now my marketing and brand director,
Mm.
and he basically led the way in terms of strategy. So he was like, right, affiliates, from
Mm-hmm.
affiliates, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
double down on ads. And
Yeah.
for someone that was from the outside looking in,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, right, this makes absolute sense because it's similar to what we were doing before.
Yeah.
That if you're creating content and you're creating an avenue for people, then as many people as possible, and you're hitting all of these
Mm.
touch points on TikTok, then your brand's going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And thankfully, that's
Yeah.
literally what happened with us.
So you went initially to somewhat to like a marketing
Yeah,
expert.
like a TSP,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
and it was very much that level of, right, we know what we have, we know that we can change people's lives,
Yeah.
so help me understand the
Yeah.
platform. And I was in a very fortunate position where I was able to understand and pick up on certain touch points. And because for us it was almost that scattergun approach of let's hit as many people as possible,
Yeah.
and TikTok is the only platform that enables you to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that for us that was a huge plus because we manufacture everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to turn the tap on and to get product out the door very quickly to affiliates,
Yeah.
etc. So we were like, this is a perfect business model for us.
Perfect.
So that
Yeah.
was very much the movement in the initial like upwards
Yeah.
turn for Kanzen.
Cool, cool. So you met up with a TSP and they built you a strategy essentially to launch the brand on
Yeah,
TikTok Shop.
no, for sure.
And that started with seeding with affiliates
Yeah,
and a big injection of money into ads.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And
And that,
then
and
what was the
then
growth from there?
and basically then we went from doing oh 50 units a month to virtually 10,000 units in our first month of really double down on it. So
Wow.
we doubled down on affiliates, and at this point I don't believe we were even spending money on ads. I think it was like minimal, like maybe 100 £200 a day when we were
On
starting to hit
ads.
these numbers. But
Yeah.
the one biggest thing for us was let's get this in as many hands as possible,
Yeah.
because if we know that, especially from the affiliate network that TikTok has, we know that they can go viral overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was very much our ethos of let's just get going, let's just seed as many people as possible,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Prime
let's
the pump.
see where this goes. And then it went from we saw a few videos that were doing really well to more and more and more, and then we'd get more sample
Mm-hmm.
requests, and then we were able to fulfill more items to the affiliates. And then that just kind of went from zero to, as I say, like I think within our first month we did 10,200 units out the door when we first started to go viral.
Wow. So it started with you were saying what, 50
50 per month,
per month
up to 10,000 virtually overnight.
wow. And do you think that was explicitly the affiliates you were seeding with really taking off, or was it a total momentum?
So I think that the active ingredients started to go viral.
Okay, yeah.
So the active people started to understand the education of the active,
Mm-hmm.
which has always been what we wanted to do. We always wanted to get as much education on hypochlorous acid and what it actually does for the skin, the benefits for the skin, everything else.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like almost like the perfect storm where we had the education that was being driven. We had the affiliates videos of it actually working, and then we had the TikTok ecosystem that kept on regurgitating everything to everyone, and then that created the spiral, and then that just kind of just shot our sales overnight. Massively.
Sort of becomes self-fulfilling.
Absolutely. Like the tug of war that we had between goods versus the demand was interesting to say the least.
So you mean you were getting more demand than you had product for?
Correct.
Oh wow.
Correct.
Was that just because of that immediate growth that you're suddenly like, wow,
massively. Like at one point that we were sat in our office on a Thursday night booking flights to Istanbul to get bottles to come back because our supplier couldn't get us bottles into the UK quick enough.
Wow.
And that was virtually that virtually happened overnight.
Amazing. So what did the team of Kanzen look like internally at the beginning? Was it just you and the TSP essentially?
Yeah, so it was me, it was Jordan, and it was Katie, the three founders, and my mom. And massive shout out to my mom, because my mom was packing orders with us.
Oh my God, love.
Bottling with us, putting caps on tops of bottles.
Yeah.
And it was basically the four of us in the very beginning, and the TSP arm.
Yeah.
And with Matthew, what I knew I was getting someone that was not going to ever give in. So what the 10,000 was never going to stay at 10,000.
Yeah.
And I realized that very quickly that it was right. We're going to scale this, and we're going to scale this in a big way. And then we ended up making our first hires. First hires came in, and within the space of it was about this time last year that we started to go viral. We're now sitting at 22 members of staff.
Wow. And over what kind of timeline from you first opening the TikTok shop account to
opening the TikTok shop? We're probably looking about 10 to 11 months. We scaled to that.
Wow, my goodness. That is very fast.
Very fast.
Wow. And so you guys have an office space, I assume?
So we've literally we have 2 office spaces in Birmingham, and we're moving into a warehouse that is 7 times bigger than what we've got at the moment.
Wow. Amazing.
And that's honestly to do MPD. So our MPD calendar looks amazing for the next year, 2 years, and to fulfill orders through TikTok.
Amazing. And are you guys still working with a TSP, or have you taken all of your
everything's
stuff
been
in-house?
now taken in-house?
Yeah.
As I say, like Matthew heads up the brand direction and the marketing direction, and everything's now fully within Kanzen.
Wow, amazing. That's amazing. And how are you guys populating your account, like the shoppable videos? Do you have your own in-house presenters and people?
Yeah, so we just made 2 amazing hires that are doing shoppable content, community-based content, and we're still obviously doing affiliates.
Of course.
Affiliate videos, that's still a huge revenue driver
for
us, affiliate videos, but also lives. So we've built out 3 live rooms. So we have different live rooms for different, like we have a community building live room, we have like a fulfillment live room, and it's all staged as such. So the fulfillment live room, for example, they pack orders, they do different things. So we have like a full calendar of live presenters that come in that basically just their one job is to
just sell.
via TikTok Live.
And how often are you guys going live? And I guess
every day, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. until about 6 p.m.
Wow.
And now we're with this new move, we're building purpose-built rooms as well at the new space, and they'll be 24 hours pretty much.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So when we start to look at different markets through TikTok, then we can start to facilitate different markets from locations as well.
Wowza.
So TikTok
global domination.
TikTok is pretty much our biggest partner at the moment.
Amazing. Wow. So for the affiliates you guys still activate now, are these creators that you've had now relationship with for a while that you are going back to?
Yeah, like we still have our core Kanzen team and our Kanzen army that was from day one with us. But also we're onboarding new affiliates. Like the most beautiful thing that I found about TikTok is that anyone can go viral.
Yeah.
As long as the content and the message of the video is good, anyone can go viral.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's not even about sales reports, it's about none of that. It's about how does your community engage with you? If you've got 500 views on video versus 500,000 views, how does the community engage? Like, and for us, it's all about community. Like, and that's been like the biggest play and the biggest positive for us is that community driver of yes, we have a fantastic product, yes, it works, but how does it convey to people?
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you were building that community in the early stages of the brand being on TikTok Shop, was that something that the TSP was helping with, or was that something you sort of personally had your hands in, or
A mixture of both.
yeah,
Like very much that we've always had our core beliefs and our core why we started.
yeah,
And I think that the best thing about Kanzen is our why has always been to help people. It doesn't necessarily mean much to us the revenue as long as we're getting people that are saying that it actually works, because I think that that's always been about why we actually started. Like none of us when we first started had skincare experience, and I think that that was a huge driver, because when you don't necessarily have that, you want validation. So you want validation that your products actually work. And I think that now we're 3 years in, we still need that validation
yeah,
because we're not industry experts. We're not like that. But what we've got is a fantastic product that works, that we're building routines within, and we're building other products around. And we're at the forefront of hypochlorous acid, especially in the UK. And now we're going to take that globally. But I think that for us, it's always been about that why. Why did we start? And I think that there's no TSP in the world that will be able to get and understand why we started. Like, and I think that when we were working with Matthew and the TSPs, it was how do you want us to portray this, rather than them just rolling with it. So it was very much a partnership from the very beginning, and I think that a lot of people can learn from that. That regardless of who's managing the accounts, who's doing different things, it's still your why you started that will always be betrayed, because
right. So you're saying when you started out working with Matthew and the TSP,
Yeah.
they were really helpful and hands-on and being in collaborating on the message of why you want to, rather than as you're saying, there are many agencies out there that will just be like, okay, fine, we'll fully take this over for you and put our tried and true method behind it. Yeah,
Exactly. And I think that that's why it was so slow to begin with, was because that we had a very much of why we started, and then when that connected, everything connected. And I think that that's been like the crucial point for us, has been we started this for Katie's skin. The affiliates helped because it helped them with their skin conditions. So when you have the core why, and then you mix that with the affiliates saying, well, this stuff actually works and this is brilliant, and then you have the community that TikTok has saying, well, this is actually fantastic and this works. Once you have that, then you have a fantastic business model.
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting the point you made earlier about you and the rest of the founders coming in to this space without a ton of experience in the skincare world can also help provide a different perspective that can then translate into you are also decoding it really well for an audience, because you've got the same questions and it's not all a second language to you already.
Absolutely. Like, and I think that it comes back to the steps, the routine steps that we were coming in with, like, well, why do we need 20 steps to do a skincare routine? You need A to B to C to D, and just fill in the gaps in between. So we were coming in with it from a completely fresh perspective as well, which is refreshing, but also at the same time completely nerve-wrenchingly dangerous as well, because you're coming in, you're trying to disrupt the market that doesn't want to be disrupted.
Yeah.
And that again is why we felt that TikTok was such a great platform, because you can disrupt that market.
Yeah.
Because the major brands, yes, they're on TikTok and yes, they're doing really well, but they're still playing within their ball games. And with us, we're like, we don't necessarily have a rule book. we threw that out a very long time ago. We were like, none of us really have this experience
Yeah.
that the likes of the Inculus, the Ordinary, do.
Yeah.
But what we have is a desire to help people.
Yeah.
And if we can portray that to people, then people are going to buy into that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, very interesting. And as you're saying, the beauty industry is incredibly saturated, especially on TikTok. You know, there are more cosmetics brands than you could count. Um, yeah, you spoke about the virality of the ingredient, the active
Yeah.
ingredient. Tell me more about how you kind of use that as your edge.
So because we've been working with the active for so long, like we've been probably Jordan and I have been working with it for about 9 years prior. So we have very much the experience to understand what hypochlorous acid was.
Mm,
And I think that we were able to capitalize on that. And when people were putting out misinformation, etc., we were like, "Oh, guys, this is wrong because of X, Y, and Z."
hmm.
So we were already seen as like the experts. So we might not have been the skincare experts, but we were the experts within the hypochlorous acid range.
Yeah.
So where people were saying, "Oh, you can do this, this, this," we were like, "No, you can't," and this is the reason why you can't.
Mm,
And I think that really built a good, solid community because we knew what we were talking about where the
hmm.
active was concerned as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was very much the starting point, and the end point for us was like, right, we may not know skincare, but what we do know is hypochlorous acid. So let's hone in on that
Yeah.
versus trying to be skincare experts.
Yeah.
So that was very much, I think that was why people elevated towards us as well,
Right.
because we were giving real points to everything.
Yeah, and you'd really carved out your own space in the very
No,
saturated
for sure.
skincare world as experts. That's interesting. Oh, I had another question. It's completely left my head. Oh, yes. So with the kind of as you were saying, you had sort of a viral moment happen with your skincare
Yeah.
products. What did that look like?
That looked like a massive headache. No, like that was fantastic. Like it literally, do you know people ask me like, what's the best thing that has happened to Kanzen since you went viral? And honestly, the best thing that I can say that happened was that we were able to employ our first member of staff properly. So we were able to bring our first member of staff who's still with me today. Like
Amazing.
Vic's still with me now, and he'll always be with me if he wants to stick around. Like
Nice.
he's the epitome of us going viral. Like he's this person that walks into our unit every single day, and I'm like, you're
the sign
for
of
me
yeah.
that we went viral.
Yeah, nice. That's
and
sweet.
and as well as that, like we have amazing people, we have amazing chemists, we have different people that are now there. But for us, I think that the whole virality thing was right. How can we utilize this to grow in other areas as well? So with the production, with everything else, and that that was a headache. But with virality comes growing pains.
Yeah, and yeah, growth and the growing pains. Yeah. I think so often brands can have a big viral moment and then stumble and not be quite sure how to then keep the business ticking over and growing after that. Would you say that sort of the experience you'd had beforehand was
Massively.
helping you?
So with us, we were like, right, what's the next product? Because we've done really well with the spray. How can we introduce something different? And it was Katie. She was like, right, what about targeted acne? How can we target spots? So then we introduced a product that's 3 times the strength of our core spray, called the Hyper Shot Wand, and that went from 0 to crazy numbers again, because we didn't want to differentiate from what we actually knew. And what we knew was hypochlorous acid. So we were like, right, let's do this 3 times stronger, safe enough for skin, different things that we can do alongside this to create, again, another viral moment. And that was very much what we did. We created this almost pimple patches were on the rise. So we're like, how can we go up and toe to toe with these guys? Right, let's introduce the wand. So then we introduced the wand, and then that had its moment, and it's still growing today. And then we doubled down on hypochlorous acid. So we brought in the best chemists that we could to be like, right, great, how can we add this now to do a moisturizer? How can we add it to a serum? Because people know what the active is now. And it's not even had its, I don't believe it's had even half of its its viral moment yet. Like
Mm.
hypochlorous acid in its whole. And I think it'll be just as big as hyaluronic acid. And I think
Mm.
that when you've got massive brands, massive organizations jumping on the trend of this, then
Mm.
it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So we were like,
Absolutely.
right, how can we really hone in on this, really double down on this?
Mm.
And that was very much what we did with the other
Mm.
products to create their own little viral moments as
Mm.
well. So the last thing you want to do, especially on the platform, is become almost a one product hero product.
Yeah, you don't want to
You
stall.
don't want to stall. So for us, it was like, right, how can we take this and take what we've learned from launching this product into doing the next one, the next one, the next one.
Mm.
And again, affiliate, influencer, that was very much how we drove traffic.
Interesting. And then in that same vein, so with product development, do you guys have, now that you've grown as a business, do you have your own little team
Yeah,
in-house that are
so we
always
have
looking
like
at?
we literally we still do the MPD. So we
Mm-hmm.
go and be like, right, what can we do? What can't we do? And then take that to our chemists,
Yeah,
and our chemists go, right, this can be achieved, that can't be achieved. So it's very much a fantastic setup in terms of like the team that we have now, because they're very much at the forefront of innovation. So we've brought in the best people from around the world to be like, right, this is what we do here, this is what we
great.
do here. So for us,
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
perfect. And then always keeping your main
Of
active
course.
ingredient at the heart of
Yeah.
every product. Wow. All right. Well, this is the part of the podcast where we hand over to some listener questions that have been submitted. So first off, we have Keisha asking, what's your must-do tip for first-time viewers tuning into your TikTok lives? And what's one thing you always do during your lives to boost sales?
Packing lives has been a huge upsell for us. So
Mm-hmm.
people watching their orders getting packed, double downing on different things like mystery bundles, mystery boxes,
Mm.
etc. That's a huge revenue driver for us at the moment. Is we do something called the pick and mix. So you get to choose 5 different products. And then there's some days that we'll do like a double down day. So we'll send 2 lots of different things out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like little incentives that like that people love, like adding a bag, adding a moisturizer pad, different other things that you can do to still upsell what you've actually got.
Spice it up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And keep the community engaged.
Mm.
And I think that that's crucial. Like what we've seen since we've gone on live is a massive increase in our followers, not just an increase in our revenue, but an increase in our followers as well. So people thoroughly enjoy what we do. So we're like, right, this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
How can we do more? So we offer double down days where we double up all the orders. We
Mm-hmm.
do different other things. Like there's some days that we're looking at it, we're like, right, we're actually going to lose money if we do these deals for like an hour,
Mm-hmm.
but then the traffic that we're going to establish will then pick up the rate of sale that will then cover that across the whole 8 hour day. So there's certain little tricks and tips that you can do around that yes, you may find yourself in a sticky position for half an hour when
Mm-hmm.
you're doubling up orders, but then the traffic that drives will then pick up the rest of and almost fill that void after.
Nice. Nice. Sandra asked, what's your best advice for creating a consistent skincare routine with Kanzen products? Are there common mistakes people should avoid?
The biggest mistake that I would say is keeping your hypochlorous acid, regardless if it's a Kanzen product or another product, keeping it in the sunlight because it will kill the active ingredient.
Okay.
So it needs to be in a dark room, and using any hypochlorous acid spray with wet skin. It needs to be completely dry skin, so the active can actually fully absorb into the dry skin. That's
Okay.
two big misconceptions.
Good to know. Listen close, guys. Rob has asked, Kanzen products often go viral. What's your process for developing products that resonate so strongly with your community?
Honestly, we listen to what people want.
Mm.
And I think that our biggest MPD is our followers and our community, because they tell us what they want. Right? We want a serum, we want a moisturizer, we want a cleanser, we want different other things. How can we, and then we take that, we go back and we're like, right, what can and can't be done with this?
Yeah.
Because if the demand is there prior to you launching, you're always going to have that. So the one thing I will say is always listen to your community and listen to what people want.
Absolutely. And then finally, Laura asked, if TikTok wasn't there tomorrow, what would you lean on most? Your website, retail partners, or community?
it would be 50-50 between retail partners and community. I think that retail partners obviously are the higher moving, so faster moving, higher order volume, but still the community. Without them, you haven't got, because you can still drive that community into retail. You can
Yeah.
do different things. So without them, then you don't really have a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listeners, I think we've definitely had a really interesting story today on the pod. Thank you again so much for joining us. So, looking into the future, what is next for the brand in 2025?
2025
into 2026 now.
Into 2026. So 2025, we're launching a foaming cleanser at the end of this year that no one knows about. I'm just seeing the eyes pop up from across the room. What are you doing? So we're launching a very exclusive. We're launching a foaming cleanser. And then next year, honestly, we've got some amazing retail partners, but more NPD, more amazing products, more very interesting collaborations with other viral brands on TikTok.
Oh, cool.
So we're doing a lot more collaborations. We're doing a lot more co-branded products with other big stores. That's all I can say on that one. I know that's all I can say on that one. So we've got that. But yeah, like just a lot more products, a lot more community events.
Yeah. Amazing.
Really cool stuff.
And then finally, if you could sum up your TikTok shop journey with one piece of advice for aspiring beauty brands, what would it be?
Don't be scared of ads, and don't be scared of affiliates. I think that's my two things. You said for one, but that's my two. Don't be scared of the platform. I think that a lot of people are scared to invest the money into ads and invest the money into samples. Honestly, without these two, you can't go on the platform. And I think that the sooner that people realize that it's kind of, you need everything to just come together. Like, you don't need to spend massive amounts of money. We didn't when we went viral, but just everything worked. You had the affiliate arm, you had the ads arm, and you had the community arm. And with all three, you can really thrive on the platform.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down. This was very interesting. It's a good one. Thank you. From music producer to skincare founder, Kanzen was built to simplify routines and boost confidence. In just 10 months, Kanzen has gone viral on TikTok Shop through educating its audience, partnering with brands, and honing in on creator collaborations. With big ambitions to scale, Kanzen put their products at the forefront and saw results. So join us again for the next episode of Beyond the Hashtag. And don't forget to follow, like, and share.